feel good to be back for a little bit. Ski will be on as well, although he has also got some other things that he's dealing with. Nothing bad, just he's busy. So it's going to be primarily me, and of course we're going to have the man with the plan. I know that's usually Wizard, but actually this is Ponder that we're talking about. Tony Cannon of the Cannon Brothers. All right, so I'm going to jump right into it. If you're listening right now and you are looking to ask Ponder a question and you cannot call in, then go ahead and go on to SRK, go to the fighting game discussion. There is a thread for questions for Ponder. All right. The only thing I will not talk about the issue of DJ Wheat versus Wizard and all of that BS. Is done. It's over with. It is not worth delving into. I will not entertain questions. I think what Ponder said on the issue is enough, and that's going to be that. Other than that, anything else is free game. Again, if you can ask, you can post a question in the thread, or you can ask in the AlphaISM radio channel. I'll monitor both. But of course, let's get the man of the hour on the show. All right, give me 1 second here. All right. I forgot to give him my Skype address. Okay, I just gave him my Skype address, so. Alrighty, let's see here. Meanwhile, by the way, I did want to mention quickly that after AlphaISM radio is done, I'm going to do all bunk radio, and you guys can stay out and listen. I have some stuff on my mind. Of course, everyone was probably was tuned in if you were at home to the Michael Jackson Memorial, which I must say was very touching. It was very touching, and I thought it was appropriate. And yeah, I mean, there he is. There is Ponder. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, is this thing on?
Yep. All
right, sweet. How's it going?
It's going great, man. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
I think the first thing that needs to be said is congratulations, man. I mean, I knew Street Fighter 4 was going to be big, but I really do think that all of us are kind of a little bit taken aback about how many entries that you have for the game so far. Which, if at last count, was like 1,200, maybe it's more than that now.
Oh. Where are you getting your information from?
Oh.
It's not 1,200. It's definitely not 1,200, no. I think it's going to come in around 870 when all is said and done.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
yeah.
Overestimating myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, still, if you look at other tournaments for Street Fighter 4 this year, or even just past EVO tournaments, that's a lot more than I think anyone has ever had in a live tournament stateside, for sure, ever. I don't know about Japan, but yeah, and it's not really us. I mean, Street Fighter 4 blew up because Capcom finally got behind their franchise, which had been languishing for a decade, right? And Seth got over there in Capcom and really got serious about involving the community, and it's really paying off. We're excited too. It's awesome.
It goes without saying, I cannot imagine a better person to happen to, persons to happen to it than you and your brother and Wizard, all the people that helped make EVO a success back when there's only maybe, half of the amount of people, or 1/3, I really do feel very excited for you guys. I mean, I really do think that, this year will be the year that, that fighting games will turn to mainstream as opposed to a niche. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this will be the test. We're excited too to actually have so many people come back to fighting games people who used to play on the Nintendo or people who used to play at the 7-Eleven and then dropped it for 10 years and are now interested in, if not playing hardcore in tournaments, following the scenes. And, our community has some of the most colorful personalities, to say the least, in it, right? If you look at the Halo community, when we did the MLG partnership with Evo a couple years back, our hype compared to their hype was just nothing, right? And it's like we would blow the doors off whatever they were doing. And to be able to put that on, the live stream that we're planning, and, the I Got Next documentary shows a lot of that, and just to have everyone paying attention to that now is really exciting. And everyone, some people have really lofty ideas, like, the whole e-sport thing, and, professional Street Fighter player, and can I make, my millions off of this? And it's never been about that for us, right? For us, it's about the game and the community, and, capturing that arcade feel. That's what EVO's about, even though it's a console tournament, right? It's about getting everyone together, and fighting and seeing who's the best and having a good time with it, too. And seeing it actually blow up like this, to be even bigger, to make the community grow, that's really what it's all about. So yeah, we're totally psyched. We think this year is going to be, best EVO ever, by far.
And of course, to be the 1 year where I cannot go. I'm still crying about that. You know what? You know how bad I've been crying? At work, everyone knows what EVO is, and none of them ever played a video game in their life. They know what EVO is. But I'm at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to seniority, and that's how vacations are chosen. It's based on seniority, and so, there's another banker that's out that week, and I tried as hell, as hard as hell, maybe he's like, can you just give me Thursday and Friday off? And they're like, no. So, oh well.
Wow. Hopefully this is just the beginning, right? Next year, Capcom has shown they're serious about this franchise, and I think Street Fighter 4 broke so many records that, we're going to see Street Fighter 4 CE probably before a year goes out, right? And that'll just keep the ball rolling, right? Evo 2010 will feature that. I'm just guessing. I don't have the information, but I can't imagine Capcom would let a year go by without releasing some kind of an update. So yeah. Hopefully we'll see you next year. Definitely. Yeah. And catch us on the live stream, right? So.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. By the way, because the live stream, I guess it was a couple years ago. That was great. And the crowning moment for me, was, I know I should bring this up, but Dark Prince was playing on the big screen against Demon Hio, and he got perfected, and he reset the console. And I'm glad that the entire world got to see that, because, it's funny, obviously, he was a bad loser, but, yeah. Stuff like that, that's, it's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to actually see it. And, how, judging based on how it was a couple of years ago, what's the difference between what you had a couple years ago and what's going to be this year?
Well, if you look a couple of years ago, YouTube kind of already hit it big, but live internet streaming, for the masses was definitely in its infancy. And we looked at Ustream, we looked at a couple other sites that a lot of them have gone out of business, and they were all very raw in terms of what you could do and how many viewers you could have. And I think I forget who it was, but the solution we went with eventually had like a 15-minute limit on your show, right? You could broadcast a 15-minute show for free. So we had to keep continually recreating the show to get 6 hours of live broadcast. And and of course there was a user limit. I think the limit was something like 500 or 1,000. We didn't hit that.
That's way too low.
Yeah, it's way too low to do something like EVO this year, or even some of the other events have had thousands of users simultaneously, right? So it was very, very difficult to do. And what we found was really, EVO 2007. I hate to keep harping on it, but nobody knew. Everyone knew, like, Street Fighter. Yeah, I remember that. That's with Ryu and Ken, and I used to play that like 6 years ago. People still play that? And even when we got when we partnered with MLG, like they were like, "Wow, this game looks like it's on the Nintendo." When they saw ST, and they just didn't care, right? The hardcore people who really cared were at Evo,
right.
And so we're like, well, we can do this stream, but the payoff just isn't worth it, right? Investing in things like we invested, like the next year we did the live player interviews for before finals, right? And that, people say they like the taglines better with the picture and the tagline because the interview didn't go off so well. Well, that tried it didn't work, but this year I think like the SPO quals and devastation and like the infrastructure behind streaming now is just where anyone can just point a webcam at something and get a very high quality live stream with lots of people up there. So and the big blow up, right? All the fans who are familiar with Evo from the Justin Daigo video online and Street Fighter 4 blowing up, obviously they're all going to want to see Evo live. So we're working pretty hard on that to make sure that we're streaming pretty much the whole event, not just the finals, but Friday and Saturday. Yeah, we'll have the stream going as long as we can, from 9 in the morning till midnight, all 3 days, if we can do it. Right.
Will it be recorded, or well, I guess not, because that would defeat the purpose of the DVD, wouldn't it? I'm thinking I'm gonna call in sick on Friday. I am happy though. So that was going to be my next question: is is it going to be covering the entire tournament or just the finals? I cannot wait. One other question is, I think. No, was that that was 06 with Duck and Sanford, right? I mean, is there any hype matches? I mean, would you be willing to air those as well, not just a tournament, or is it just for tournament? Or what's your feelings on that?
Well, Friday and Saturday, it's going to be mostly tournament, and frankly, mostly Street Fighter 4. We did that poll online and said, overwhelmingly people want to see Street Fighter 4.
Mm-hmm.
We'll of course be doing the 5-on-5 on Saturday night, and that's the hype event this year,
mm-hmm.
is to, see which region really, get a lot of matchups going because the rules only allow for one character, and see a lot of high quality play from across the United States, matchups that you haven't seen before. But I misspoke earlier. The real event is Street Fighter 4 tournament, right? Because you've got Daigo versus Justin, where Daigo pretty much destroyed Justin at the GameStop National Exhibition, and Justin says, "Well, yeah, but it's not a tournament, and I wasn't using my counter character, so how's that going to work out?" And then you've got John Choi, who's an amazing story. He's been playing the game 7 weeks or something, and got second at Devastation to Justin, and surprised a lot of people by forcing Justin to get off his Rufus and switch to Abel to seal the deal, which was a smart move by Justin, no doubt.
It's a smart move, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
The purpose of a tournament is to win it.
Right.
I just never seen anyone do that, that forces him like that. And it's kind of funny, I went back and looked at the match that Daigo had versus Justin. And, of course, Daigo also plays for you, just like Choi does, and there are some similarities, And, and so that was really fun.
Yeah, the other thing, not many people know this, the very next week, Choi went to a local tournament in Walnut Creek at Fuddruckers, which drew 170 people.
I heard about that.
Right, including, Jason Cole and Graham Wolf and a lot of other, good play, Ricky Ortiz, all the locals, right? And he cleaned up that one. He got first, right? So in his brief Street Fighter career, John Choi is coming on like gangbusters, right? And so what's he gonna do? And then of course you've got all the OGs practicing. Right. You've got all the new faces like Mike Ross. What is he doing with Honda? I don't know how he keeps winning with Honda.
I don't know either, man.
I don't understand. All right, so a lot of this you're gonna see in the semifinals. When we stream that, the EVO schedule is up. I don't know if people have noticed that, but the semifinals will be Friday night. No, Saturday night, starting at like 7, and you'll see a lot of your favorite players there, I'm sure. And then just Sunday night around, I don't know, whenever it ends up being like 6 or 8 or 10 or whenever it ends. When the finals hit, that's going to be. You expect to see Daigo, you expect to see Justin, you expect to see John, and just seeing who wins that is really going to set the bar. It's the first checkpoint. A lot of people weren't around when the game came out right? Because the last game that came out was like CBS2 and nobody cares. Right? This is our first checkpoint to see, who sets the bar, who's better, East Coast or West Coast, who's better, Justin, John, Daigo, US versus Japan. And then next year is going to be the real test, right? Because then everyone will know the matchups. There will be no excuse, right? There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. But this is the first checkpoint. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
It's interesting you mention that because one thing that crossed my mind is, I don't know, I've been watching the chatter on RFC, and especially in Capcom, and it seems like that Gen and Cammy are coming on real strong as a viable character, a viable tournament character, because obviously, we really, the game came out, in console in February, and there's just not enough time to really, practice and get equated. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Hold on, this is Ski. All right, cool.
Hey, Ski, how's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay.
I was just saying this. Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about Cammy and Gen.
Oh yeah, Cammy and Gen. I'm hearing more and more people say that. You know what? They got some shenanigans, and it'll be interesting because next year, of course, that you're right. That will be when everyone learns to matchups, and probably that'd be Street Fighter 4 CE or Second Impact or whatever you want to call it. And I will be there. I will kill before I not go. So either I'm going to be at Evolution, or I'm going to be in Washington State Prison. One or the other, the attempt will be made, but
there's a couple good Cammies and Gens, but I'm not sure if everybody's going to show up to Evo. Jibbo is going to go, and he's probably the best Gen in America, in my opinion. So he's going to take a bus to get to Evo. I don't know if you guys heard him say that.
Virginia to Las Vegas in a bus?
Oh, he lives in North Carolina.
Oh,
shit. So, it's closer, right?
Yeah, by about 20 miles, yeah. Man, that is dedication. That is dedication right there. If you take a bus, I won't want to be on the bus with someone who's been on the bus from South Carolina to Las Vegas. Basically, you're traveling 7/8 of the freaking country. So that's going to be somewhere around 3,000 miles, if not more. That's...
Oh, on the bus? That's more than 3,000 miles.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I thought from Seattle to New York is around 3,200 miles, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, the round trip thing. Probably the trip from where he's going to Vegas is probably a good 2,500 miles that he's going to be taking on a bus. It's going to take him like 2 days to get there. And what sucks about that is that he's going to a tournament, so he has to go in and perform. I hope he gets there in plenty of time to get his practice in,
Something funny though said in RC. Random says Evo's leaving today for Evo, so he gets there on
yeah, and I think it's gonna get there Saturday, so we're gonna hold fools.
Wow.
It is. Most people, I would tell them that's insane, but actually Jibbo is really, really good. And the fact that he is on the bus, DS is echoing my sentiments exactly. The fact that he is riding a bus to get there says that he is hungry. We know that guy's already hungry.
I'm just gonna
on live stream, the first live stream star that nobody heard of, in my opinion, because he was wrecking shop such that I thought that he was playing CPU or something. I thought he was playing casual, and he was just destroying people. So for him to take the bus there, oh man, he's just gonna be doing combos in his brain for 2 days, and then he's gonna get out and train and bust some ass open. We're gonna put him in the pool with Daigo. We're gonna just watch them fight it out.
I'm just gonna go out here and say it. You know what? I know what Justin has done. I actually defended him a lot, but I think there's a slim chance that he's gonna win Evolution, and I don't mean just because Daigo is in the tournament. I think that this might be this is where the buck is gonna end for Justin. I'm not. He might take second, third, fourth, but for some reason, after watching what I've seen over the past 6 weeks, I just can't imagine him winning Evolution. I think that there's going to be people that are actually going to be hungrier than he is.
Yeah.
That's a long shot. Justin is extremely hungry. He's in Japan right now, powering up. Right? Him and Marin flew to Japan
Oh, they went already?
Train for Evo.
Yeah, they're in Japan. They're training.
Oh,
They're
okay.
in Japan,
Well, shoot.
right? Getting right, and you can search on YouTube for this at a weekly ranking tournament. They went to a Japanese arcade. Justin fought hard but lost against I think the number 3 Bison in the first round, and Marn drew Malgo. Great, right? He lost in the first round as well. But so they're hungry too. If you're gonna
they're hungry
to where the best competition in the world is to practice for this tournament, that says a lot. So don't count him out.
I'm not.
I have my favorites. I have 3 favorites, and I will not reveal them to avoid bias. Right, but I think I have a 98% chance of predicting the winner with those 3 picks.
We know that what
2 or possibly 3 of your 3. I can empathize. I do have a couple people that I think are going to win too, but I think Justin's still probably favored to win the tournament.
No, he's favored. I don't know. After watching Choi, I don't know. I was just thinking that I have never seen anyone to this point where besides Daigo, where I said, man, Justin needs to be worried about him. I've never met anyone, and now, watching what Choi did, and he's continuing to do. I think Justin's in for the fight of his life. He's favored to win it. I understand. He might very well do it. I'm just not as certain as I was back when he won the GameStop tournament back in February.
You know what it is for me? It's that I feel you on that uncertainty, and every time I've ever felt like that with Justin, that's when he pulls through. Like, he is a clutch player, like in the strongest definition of the word. They've actually done studies on clutch players in basketball. I just heard about this study that was published today. They studied clutch players in basketball. Do they make more points per like the last few minutes of a game? And they do. But those players, they get more opportunities to score in the last few minutes of the game because they get the ball more. But you could probably video games would be a good study for this. If you could study clutch the last couple seconds of the fight in fighting games, and that's equal. Wow, we should propose that. Anyway, point is that that dude is clutch. It comes from those people that have grinded in these arcades for 50 cents. Or, you guys in the West Coast, you didn't even have the 50-cent game like we have over here. It's been 25 cents for you guys forever. What the hell? It's been 50 cents for me since I was 8, 50 cents is just how much games cost. When I came to California, it was like fantasy land. Everybody says this. When you see the 25-cent games, it's like, what is it? What? What's going on? And then you're like, and then you tell us you get like double token Tuesdays, and what's going on? Back to the point, Justin is so clutch under pressure. Like, when that guy needs to adapt, that's when he wins. And that's the only reason why I have some faith in Justin even still. But it's anybody's tournament. How is a 2 out of 3 format gonna affect Daigo in this game?
Daigo, interesting, right? Because Daigo's come to Evolution before, and he's won some, but he's also not won some, right? His third strike performance is a little bit lackluster, right?
Right.
And I know that's not really his game. That's there's a lot of people in Japan ranked higher than
yeah.
But yeah, you can't count out Justin. You can't count out John. You can't count out any of the OG players who are training really hard right now.
That's
Street
2 of
Fighter
your 3,
at
isn't
its
it?
core is really OG, right? Footsies are really important. I know it's got these crazy mechanics like focus attack, dash, cancel, and ultra and stuff, but fundamentals go a long way in that game. You can't count out the new blood, that's hungry, like Jibbo and Mike Ross, and Combo Fiend is training really hard. It really is anyone's tournament. Whoever has the best day. Obviously, there are overwhelming favorites. You have to like Daigo, you have to like Justin, but anyone could win this, right? It is the first checkpoint. We don't have any real data, honestly. Yeah. We have a couple regionals to go by, but even those results are, what's going on there? Right? Sometimes.
Hey man, Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Hey man, after day 1, after we see how people perform in the pools, it's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like when the brackets are set up, because we're going to have seen those, 96 people, and a couple of those guys are going to be like impressing people on levels that nobody knew about. You know, somebody always like rises to the occasion on Evo Day, and on Pool Day it's just like 3 or 4 people that, you know, just look on like in incredible form, you know, like the video game gods shine down upon them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, Evo has had random brackets for several years now, and I know some people don't like random brackets, but it's the most fair way to do it, right? We seed by region, so you don't have to play people you came with, and then it's random. And that means that, you know, we've got 24 pools for Street Fighter 4. You're not going to get a random distribution of skill. There's always going to be 1 or 2 pools that are going to have a lot of good players in it. You know, we call it started with the black bracket of death with ST. You know, the bracket that had Mike Watson and Alex Valle and Tom Cannon and James Chen and I think Romedy with, this is back in the day at UCLA when those guys still played, right? It was like 12 good players and 2 were going to come out. And that's going to happen this year. And, you know, a lot of guys you're expecting to see in the semis or even the finals might not make it out of pools. And that'll be interesting to see.
Definitely a possibility. Oh man, pools are going to be so huge.
Oh yeah. Are you sure that we're not going to have a 24-hour pool? You know, man, I'm just saying. I know Wizard already answered this question, but man, like, this is going to be the year where we, you know, it's going to be 4:45 a.m. It's like, hey, if you ain't there,
that would be hard.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. We posted the schedule. We'll be going from 9 a.m. to midnight on Friday with Street Fighter 4 pools, and it will be done. And we budgeted this out. We bought 24 22-inch LCD monitors that are all the same. That's, you know, 2 monitors per pool. We have an AM session and a PM session, and, you know, 7 hours to get through 1/24 of the entry. We've done the math, and it should work out, but to make it work, we're going to have to be really strict with the disqualifications, which means we call your name, you got 2 minutes, and, you know, we'll try to stall. You know, every year we try to stall because people spend a lot to get here, and people really care. So we try to skip matches and, you know, rearrange things and give you some time. But if we're stuck, you know, we're just going to have to keep going because, you know, like, I agree with you. We can't be up till 4 a.m. on Friday calling names, trying to get people through the brackets, right? That's not fair to those people. So,
plus you get charged extra for that.
Do we? That's a good question. We'd have to talk to Joey. I bet we do. You know, I bet there's overtime that we have to pay because the staff, which is planning to clean the hall or at least straighten up after a sloppy stool, we'll have to stay till 5 a.m. And so, we don't want to pay them time and a half.
If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna change gears because I learned that if you can't have all your best shit at the beginning of the show, you got to say something. So we're gonna actually come back to Evo for the end of the show. I want to talk about GGPO. The first question, yes, my first question to you is, like, where are you at with GGPO? Do you think there's, I mean, I guess it's kind of a redundant question. Is there still room for improvement? Is there stuff that you haven't done yet that's in your mind but you haven't yet done? Because I know you're a busy guy, you know. Like, where are you at with GGPO?
Yeah, I think, well, if you look at, you know, where are we? It's been like 3 years, maybe 4 years since I got this stuff working, and then we went to the beta, and then, you know, tried to get it into STHD, but for reasons I don't want to go into, that didn't work out. But I think we've shown, I hope we've shown that GGPO is, you know, the best networking rollback implementation out there, you know, including, you know, the one that Backbone put into STHD. You know, it's close, but it's not good enough. At least that's what people tell me. Now, people are going to tell me something different than, you know, I obviously get, oh, GGPO is great, that's all I hear. But I think that's true. And, you know, can it be improved? I don't know, probably. I mean, I'm not actively working on improving it because, you know, where's the payoff? I don't want to sound like I'm only in it for money, but, you know, people...
Show me the money!
Show me the money! There's like, you know, thousands of people play GGPO every day. And you go to the KOF 98 room or the ST room. I was in the Marvel room the other day, and, you know, it's great. You see high-level play. If I could improve it a little bit, maybe a little bit, I don't think those guys would get a whole lot of value out of it, honestly. Now, people ask for stuff like 4-player support for 4-player Marvel, and that's stuff I could add. And then, features with the matchmaking server and, tournament support was something I was working on, but that got really hard. And I could add all those features, but it really wouldn't improve the networking code, right? I really have 2 goals with GGPO. One is to get online fighting games to have this great rollback implementation so that you can get the arcade-type experience playing anyone in the world, right? That's my first goal. And then my second goal is to not do it for free, right? I would like to not just give away all the hard work I've done for 4 years. Right? And that's really it.
That's only fair. You know what? I'm saying this. So maybe I know that you probably cannot answer this question too much, but what was the purpose of Capcom licensing GGPO if they're not going to use it? I mean, because it looks to me like they're only licensing it so that it can't be used by any of their competitors.
Well, that's not true. Capcom's license is non-exclusive.
Okay.
Right. So Capcom has a GGPO license, and they will. I assume they licensed it to put it in their games, and that's all I could say, even if I knew more, because we've signed an NDA. Mm-hmm. And if Capcom doesn't tell you anything about what they're doing with GGPO, then it's certainly not in my place to tell you anything, if I know anything. Right. So if you want to know what Capcom's doing with GGPO, their forums are wide open, and they're actually very receptive to their community now, right? So, ask Christian, ask Seth. Seth will probably tell you to go away, because, that we're buddy-buddy, and that would be a conflict for him. But, ask Christian, ask on the forums. Ray's a producer there, ask Ray. But yeah, it definitely wasn't to lock up the technology or anything.
Okay.
Actually,
that's good.
That's an option that I have, is I can be like, I don't really want to exercise that option, but if anyone out there wants to buy out GGPO and just buy the IP, drop me an email. It would be expensive. But,
it better be, man. Right. You know what? Because I know this sounds kind of a little bit off, but I want you to be a millionaire, because I would love to see what you would do.
Pirate Bay can buy you.
I would love to see you. I would love to see what you do with Evo if you were a millionaire.
Wow, that would be hype.
That would, that would be. I mean, I can only imagine.
That would be hype.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think there is a million to be made with GGPO. If you look at the licenses that people pay, the licensing cost that people pay, there's a solution called RACnet that a lot of people use. That it's different than GGPO. It's like a suite of networking tools that you can use to build networking in your game if you don't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. Right? And RACnet goes for $5,000. Right? So to get to $1 million, I'd have to sell. If GGPO cost $5,000, then it would be like 200 GGPO licenses before taxes. So Microsoft could probably do that. They could find 200 games on Xbox Live Arcade, or really cheap Xbox games. So not Microsoft, obviously. Someone who sold middleware professionally could probably do that, right, over a course of maybe 7 or 8 years. But they're not going to say, "Hey, Ponder, here's $1 million. Give us the code so we can make back $1 million." Right? If they were to do that, they'd probably give me much less than that. So, but yeah, I'm actually not in it for the money, right? There are easier ways to make money than selling middleware to video game developers. So I'm really in it to try to get the code in as many fighting games as I can.
Right.
And that's been a challenge.
Here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, you mentioned push for GGPO for Street Fighter 4 Second Impact Dash, whatever you want to call it. Do you still want that? Do you think it's because I mentioned it on the radio show, on my all bunk radio, and I think that we have obviously a lot more listeners tonight. So I want to hear it from. So I think it's best to hear from the horse's mouth. Do you think it will be effective if we will really push for GGPO for Street Fighter 4 the second iteration.
Yeah, I want to clarify a little bit. I don't want to like whip the community into shape and be like, everyone go lobby Capcom to put GGPO. If you really want GGPO in Street Fighter 4 Dash, right? Then talking to Capcom and asking for GGPO-like networking code or STHD-like networking code is just saying, the online play in Street Fighter 4 is not good enough, I want more. I think that would be very effective, right? I don't think it's going to be effective to do like a letter-writing campaign. People like to do this a lot back in the Usenet days, is someone would draft a paragraph about demands that they're making to the video game company, and everyone would sign their name, and then they'd send 200 signatures to Capcom, and right, that's sort of I don't think they're going to be receptive to that. But if you explain, like if it were me personally, like not the guy who wrote GGPO, I would say something like, Capcom, I downloaded Street Fighter 4, and it's great. I love the game, but when I play online, I need to get a 4-bar connection or better, or it's just not worth it, and that takes like 20 minutes for me to find that. And so I love the game so much. I started having these things we're calling P-Stone, where I invite some friends over on Wednesday night and we train for EVO. And that's the only time I really play Street Fighter 4 competitively. And if I could play online, that would be great. Make the networking better. And, whatever you do for STHD, whatever you do for GGPO, do that, please. Right? And if everyone just phrased whatever their thoughts are on the networking were and mailed it to Capcom or posted it on the message board, or people who do interviews, if you ask, whoever you're interviewing, if it's a producer or if it's a marketing guy, well, what about the networking? Can you make it better? I think they would listen. I think like things like STHD and the fact that TVC is coming to the United States. Hello, what the hell? That must have been a miracle to pull that off with all the licensing problems, right? The fact that they're doing all this, the fact that Street Fighter 4 even exists, right? It means that Capcom is actually listening to their audience and figuring out. It totally makes sense. I'm surprised more companies don't do this, right? If you engage the people who are going to buy your game and engage them, heavily throughout the release process, like with the Fight Club stuff that they did with Street Fighter 4, and the launch party, and they're supporting EVO in a big way this year, right? If you do that, then they'll buy your stuff. Right, and if you ask them what they want and you deliver it, they'll buy your stuff, right? And Capcom totally gets that now. So I think, if people ask for better networking, then Capcom would seriously think about putting better networking in. And maybe it's not GGPO, right? Maybe it's something else. But at the end of the day, if the networking gets better, why do you care? You get to play online now. And, that's my biggest complaint about Street Fighter 4 Online, is I don't ever get to play it. Like, I haven't picked up Street Fighter 4 in like a week and a half. Because, I might be able to play 2 or 3 games an hour. And that's just more frustration for me. I can't take it, right? Okay. But at EVO, I'm going to be playing it all the time, right? Because that's live and not online.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, if you guys, that's really important what you said. You can check the Joe Rogan blog and see his open letter to Kellogg's. Read when they dropped Michael Phelps from their advertising campaign for another example. If you didn't get it from what Ponder just said, but. You definitely want to go and just tell them what you thought about it, and they're listening. We've talked about that on this show before,
Hey, I just want to let's cut the BS. I want everybody listening right now to go on to Capcom's forum, and if there isn't a thread on there by now, create one, and say we love Street Fighter 4. Now let's make it better by improving the netcode, and there are tools out there that is currently at your disposal that will help you in this manner. We really need to get behind it, because the one thing that I remember when we was all talking about, we were lobbying for GGPO back before the deal was signed, and the deal was signed, and you see, so what Ponder is saying is exactly what happened. We lobbied hard for GGPO. They licensed the technology, so we already took a big step towards making that a reality for future fighting games. Now, the time is not on our side, because I'm imagining that Street Fighter 4 Dash is at a critical point in its development where if we do not lobby hard enough to improve the netcode, it will not change and will be the same for the second version. If we don't want that, then we need to come together again, like we did before, and lobby for great netcode. Don't be a hardhead about it. Don't be rude. Tell them that you love the game, but there's a way to make it even better, to put it over the top. And if you do that, then they're going to see Street Fighter 4 finally not just being successful, but it's obviously setting itself up where we're going to have a successful Street Fighter 4 franchise, and it's not just going to be a one-hit wonder.
You know, the thing about that marketing strategy that's genius is that nowadays, people aren't really listening to advertisements as much as they're tightening their belts in the recession. And companies just know anyway that an easier way, the best way for their product to get across is not even for them to tell you necessarily. It's for someone else to tell you, someone that you know and trust anyway. You know, that's what they're trying to do with, celebrity advertisements or whatever. So if your friend is telling you about something that's really good and cool and sweet and awesome, then you are going to be more inclined to buy it. And them engaging us, now I can talk about Street Fighter a little bit more than I could before. Just because the game is big enough, the game looks good enough, the community is I don't know, it's big enough now. The fact that all of these byproducts come from like them engaging us, they know that we are able to tell more people, and like kind of form like even more of like a web for their product to just get across. And that's why like it's so important. They recognize this, and we can affect them. Because the people that, we're bringing into the community are going to have the same desires as us. So, should really get on those forums.
Yeah. There you go, folks. By the way, this question has been asked twice now. And, by the way, if you have a question for Ponder, remember, you can go in the fighting game discussion, and there's a thread for Ask Ponder. When are you going to add Killer Instinct to GGPO?
Why does anybody care about Killer Instinct?
Small, loyal following for Killer Instinct, and I'm one of them.
So I'm going to get on GGPO right now and compare something before I say it. Because, oh no, I'm wrong. So I added Karnov's Revenge to GGPO. I checked that game. Have you seen that game? Check it out on YouTube. This is the craziest game ever. Yeah, and nobody plays that game. Like, there's one guy in the room, Mike Boy.
Hey, I played that game a lot at first. Look, I know that you add games on there that you know that people aren't going to be playing because you added Last Blade 2. So, you need to just
people play Last Blade 2. Like, right now, there's 2 guys playing from Colombia or something. Like, 4 guys idling. I'm totally serious. They're playing right now.
Alright, look. You need to just add World Heroes Perfect. That's all I'm saying.
See, everyone has their game, right? They're like, can you add, like, what was somebody asked? Someone asked me for Breaker's Revenge. And
yeah, that's it
too! Breaker's Revenge, yeah. See, and the longer the room list gets, the harder it is to find a game, right? And, I added Gem Fighter. There's one guy from Japan right now hanging out in the Gem Fighter room. And it's like, he could be hanging out in another room, and then someone could challenge him. And then, they'd have a game. But instead, he's alone in the Gem Fighter room.
I have a solution. No. All you have to do is remove MVC1, X-Men vs. Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then you'd be great. And then you can go ahead and add Killer Instinct 2.
Cool with that. No, the thing about it is that the people want to play what they want to play, and that guy that's chilling in the Gem Fighters room probably isn't really interested in playing something else. Like, I know that I played Alpha 2 a lot when GGPO first came out, and I got pretty bored with that. And I really wasn't doing anything with GGPO until Vampire Savior came out. And I'm one of the people that would kind of idle in the Vampire Savior room for a long time. The only reason that I stopped is, I don't know, I think Street Fighter 4 or something came out, some new game. But, I mean, before all of these new games that are on the list that are there now, and even still, most of the time I really only want to play Vampire Savior. So, I mean, I'm not going to be in another room. The only reason I would be in another room is to watch the game, but I'm chilling in the Vampire Savior room because I'm waiting for somebody to come in that wants to play Vampire Savior or to see some games of Vampire Savior. So, just give me World Heroes Perfect so I can play World Heroes Perfect when I want to play that. You only need to put like 7 or 8 more games on there to fill up this list on my screen, which is, I don't even know what the resolution on it is, but you know. I'm sure you could put a tab in there or something. Yeah, come on. There's infinite possibilities.
Maybe I need to come up with some criteria for adding games. Make people make online petitions or send me photos.
No. Why don't you should just ask for money. I mean, you say you don't want to do GGPO.
No. That's against many different licenses, right? The Final Burn Alpha license says that it's for non-commercial purposes only, and the property of these companies that people are I would be profiting off their ROMs, which is certainly a no-no. And I'm sure everyone is legally obtaining the ROMs that they're using to play, right? So I'm actually I'm going to leave that there, right? But no. Actually, like I said, I have 2 goals with GGPO. One is to get it into as many fighting games as possible, and the other is not to do that for free, right? To get some compensation for the many years of work I put in. And sort of turning the GGPO service into a moneymaker. Like, people ask me, like, hey, Ponder, how much money would you make if you got a quarter every time someone played like it's an arcade? And I'm like, damn, I don't know, how much money would I make? And I worked it out. It's something like $8 million or something. It's crazy.
Damn.
Oh my god!
But I'm not interested in doing that. That's actually a business model people have tried, right? Like, these services where you pay a fixed monthly fee and you can play whatever games you want and this, that, and the other. And they've had some amount of success, but I don't want to do that, right? And to do that with GGPO, I'd have to secure rights to the ROMs from all the arcade people, and I would have to make the service much more robust and have support people where it couldn't get to work. And frankly, most people wouldn't give me a quarter for every game because a lot of people who play, that's one of the reasons they're into the ROM scene, is because it's all you can eat if you're willing to stray onto the dark side of the law, right? But I'm just not interested in pursuing GGPO in that direction.
Alrighty.
Right? I don't think it's a good business model, frankly.
So I withdraw my request. So people, Ponder's not in it to make money, and join me on Bunkei Radio after the show is done. Anyway, Ponder is not in it to make money.
All right. So that being said, I don't want to go broke doing this either. And running the server costs, hundreds of dollars a month. And donations amount to some people have been really awesome. Actually, everyone who's donated, thanks. You guys are awesome. Some people have been way more awesome than others, and you know who you are, and I really appreciate that, guys. I know you did not have to do that. That's great. But donations don't even come close to paying the server cost. It's like 5% or something of server cost a month. So that sort of bums me out. And so the service will run as long as I can afford to pay for everybody playing on the service, and then it will go down. So if you don't want it to go down, donate. I'm not going to ask you for money because it's illegal. No, I'm not going to. Actually, no, I would never ask anyone for money, even though that's what I just did. But I'm saying, if you appreciate the service and you want to help me pay for my server, which I use for other things than GGPO.net, then, buy me a beer. Or if you just want to say thanks to you, buy me a beer. There's a link on my webpage. If you don't, continue to play. I don't care, Play for free, as long as you've legally obtained the ROMs, all that. Just have fun. It's up there for the community, really. And so that, it serves another purpose, so that, people who are interested in, what's this rollback stuff? It can't be that good. So they can get online and actually see, it actually is that good, right? There it goes. That's my small soapbox speech.
You should have a petition for new games, but in order to sign the petition, you have to go and make a heartfelt post on the Cap community forums about GGPO and why you want it in games.
See, that might be productive. I want something completely non-productive and crazy that you have to do. Like, you've got to go to like your university college with a gas-powered lawnmower and cut the name of the ROM you want in the field, and then walk up to the top of the stands and take a picture. And then right.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Or you've got to get a tattoo of the ROM, right? And then, I don't know, something that would prove your dedication. But, you know.
I don't want it that bad.
All right.
I think I wasn't supposed to say that. Oh, well.
All right, let me see here. There is... Let me see. So your answer on GGPO is on adding Killer Instinct. It'll be up next week?
I don't know. It'll be up someday.
Someday. Oh, yeah, by the way, someone asked... This is a really good question. Okay. Going back to Evo for just a second. Any plans for a bag check or anything in Evo? There's going to be like 1 jillion sticks out there, and Evo will probably see a record high of numbers of sticks stolen.
Not if everybody has a stick sack. Right. That's actually one of the reasons we put these out, is if you buy a stick stack, you can carry it around with you all the time, and there's no need to put it down. But that being said, all stick sacks look alike. So I recommend you put a luggage tag on yours, or, you know, get it embroidered with your name or something, because people might accidentally pick yours up. But back to the question, luggage check, no, can't do it. Because that would require a ton of space to keep the luggage, a complicated tagging system to identify your luggage versus someone else, and staff that we don't have to run that. As well as, if we did a luggage check system, and even one person lost their luggage, I'd feel really bad. Right, and even if we made them sign something that says we have no liability for the loss, I would still feel really bad. And you know, we work with the hotel to book as many rooms as we can, so that if you want to drop your stick off, you know, just go to your room and drop your stick off, and then come back and enjoy the tournament. But yeah, bag check, no, don't want to cross that line. Right, it's just not somewhere we want to go.
Understandable.
Can you wear it across your shoulder like women do with purses, so they can prevent it from...
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's the way I wear mine.
I just want to say that Stick Sack is an interesting name.
Isn't it great? That was Tom's idea.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, moving on. Okay,
now you have a stack for your stick. I mean, a stick for your stack. I mean, never mind.
Look at the weather outside. No.
Not gonna touch that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is. You know what? By the way, did you ever get a chance to play Blaze Blue yet?
I haven't. No.
Oh yeah, and so it's not fucking too much better in that one, honestly. It's okay. There's no rollback though.
Let's see. I played the game and I took. Now, mind you, I have no aptitude for fighting games, but we had a 32-man tournament on Friday with only 5 people played the game before in their life, and I took Knight. Yeah. All right. But back to the service at hand. Okay, back to Evo for a second.
Did you pick New and Smash D?
Huh?
Because that'd probably get you top 10.
Did I do what?
Did you pick V13?
No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing that horror. I mean, I picked Hakuman.
You probably got top 5, man.
4 hits, and you lost 70% of your health. Hakuman is the future.
Yeah, I guess it's... Yeah, he does do a lot of damage. Go for it.
Let's see here. Back to Evolution for a second. You know, what hotel is this being held at again?
The Rio.
The Rio.
Yep. Right after the World Series of Poker, Evo.
No. The top 5, the top 4 or 5 of them were the ones that played the game before. So basically, I took 4th out of the 23 people. Yeah, see?
Yes. Sweet.
Yes. I know I can get in top 10. All it requires is people not playing the game before ever in their life. Great feeling.
I wonder if we'll get a surprise placement or a surprise appearance from Havad Khan. I guess it really wouldn't be a surprise, but maybe he'll still be around there.
I can tell you if he's registered. Hold on. I gotta log in.
Is that registration public? Is it going to be Google searchable?
Nope.
Sweet.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like Arachne. You know, I mean, what are you going to do against them freaking frogs? It's better than
the frogs.
Huh?
Arachne just has bugs.
Oh, that's something different. That's a different character, isn't it?
Rachel has frogs.
Yeah, that's.
Arachne is just a blob that he just blips around the screen and throws bugs. It's weird.
Am I the only one that seems that okay, Arachne is the race, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it me or does he remind me of Darth Nihilus from the second Knights of the Old Republic game? Remember, he has the exact same, almost the same mask on. I mean, so when I first saw him, I'm like, oh cool, they put Darth Nihilus in from. I was like, where's the lightsaber? I'm like, but I guess.
I think another recent appearance of a figure like that is in Bleach. You know, the manga / anime. The Hollows look like that. It's just like the common enemy. So that's probably one of the reasons why they went for that character design. You know, it's kind of like a popular figure from that right now. Because, you know, all the characters in BlazBlue are kind of reminiscent of character games a little bit, like blatantly so. But, you know, not in a bad way.
Hey, Tony, is like anything from are you excited from anything that was revealed at E3? Not necessarily have to be related to fighting games, but is there anything that's shown at E3 that's like, wow, I gotta play that, or?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
No. The game I'm most looking forward to is, what do you call it? That game with Jack Black in it.
What? There's a movie
with
the game with Jack
Black.
Oh, my.
What's it called? Brutal Legend. Yeah.
He's in that game?
He's the voice actor for that game.
Oh. Okay. Okay, well, just to clarify, we're being told that Arachne is based on, like, the crazy blob thingies in Spirited Away, the Miyazaki film. And as well, someone wants to know if Bang the Machine might be shown at EVO this year again.
Not this year. We don't have the rights to Bang the Machine. Those are... I think Peter Kang still has that locked up, and... yeah, I don't know, we just didn't think about doing it. I'm not sure if he would want us to or not want us to, we just didn't think about it. Because we've shown it twice. And I think the last one was 2 years ago, 2007.
I thought he's shown it 3 times, but I don't know, I could be mistaken.
Maybe 3 times. Right, so for the old timers, the schedule is so packed this year that to take 2 hours away from anything else and show that thing again, because we have to shut down the BYOC, we've got to, right, it's a big thing. And not that it's not a great documentary, I think it's, it's even more important now because it sort of shows the roots. Like the scene where we're putting up the big screen at B4, and the big screen's like 8 feet tall, and it's a flip fold thing, right? I mean, to really show how far we've come, it's really awesome. But
yeah.
The schedule is it's really packed this year. There would have been no time. So maybe next year.
Hey, Ski, there's an important question for you in RSC.
About that. Okay. Doesn't that guy just release that movie on a DVD or something? You could get probably $500 out of the Street Fighter community. All of his work.
Wow.
Nobody's got any money to buy anything.
Yeah, I am broke.
I mean, how many DVDs do you guys sell a year?
Evo DVDs? I don't know. Wizard handles that. But It was, yeah, let's talk about that. So, when we did B3, we released the tape, right? And, didn't sell many tapes.
That just sounds fun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the tape. Like, what's a tape? But, really, when we started to get big, right, like, we went in pocket to pay for the venue fee and, you know, all the equipment and the signage and all that stuff. And then we really needed to sell tapes and DVDs to make up the money so that we didn't lose the whole thing. We'd only lose like 50% or sometimes 10%, or maybe we break even, right? That with these days with YouTube, and that worked because if you lived in like Egypt or, you know, the Midwest, sorry, Midwest people, or somewhere else where they don't play it.
Hold on.
Egypt, man, or Wisconsin.
where no one was any good at all, and you wanted to see high-level play and be like, I want to improve my game, I got to know how to beat Honda or something, right? And you would buy those tapes, and you would get those DVDs, and like, these are the best people in the country playing, and you would see what high-level play was, right? And so people gobbled that up. It was awesome, and I'm glad we could do it for them, right? These days with YouTube and stuff, and you see people from Japan and live streams from Japan and everything, you know, people are using that, and even online, right? You know, there was no online play way back in the day. Or it was like crappy Xbox One online play, right? People are using that to get better. And so, the DVD is sort of come and gone. It's lost its shine. It's like, why would you buy the Evo DVD?
I give you a good reason. I really think Tony, I think it's time to do the Evo Adult show. You know, it happens after
that would
Evo.
be a different DVD entirely. I don't know if I want that DVD.
Right.
Hours.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did the Evo Adult and you sold it on DVD. You came back and say, you know what? Yeah, screw GGPO. We're going to be doing Evo Adult from now on, and I'm now a millionaire. Thank you guys, and yeah.
You get private jets after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just thinking about who would be on the adult DVD.
Star Slayer.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
I didn't say that.
I didn't. You walk by.
I don't know who will be on the DVD. Little girl.
But anyway, it's a new age, right? DVDs have come and gone. I don't know if we're gonna have an Evo DVD this year, but we're doing something else that should be better than an Evo DVD for everyone, and I can't talk about it yet.
Oh,
but keep your eye out. You know, we have more announcements coming before Evo goes live, and this is one of them. So I'm excited about this. It should be better for everyone, frankly, than an Evo DVD. But yeah, why do you want to buy a DVD? That's so, 2004.
Exactly.
The disc, it gets scratched, you can't watch it, you gotta pop it in this machine to play it, and, we always compress the hell out of everything so that we can get the most footage on it, because you want to see more matches, but then you watch Marvel and it's all blocky and stuff whenever Magneto does anything crazy, and, it's a great keepsake, but we've got the badges, the Evo badge is your keepsake, so do you need the DVD? Yeah. The content's great, but you can get the content easily on YouTube, and you can get high level. I forgot the name of this website. I saw this website the other day where they have high level Street Fighter play indexed by matchup. So if you want to, oh yeah, there you go. Right. So you want to see the best Honda versus Blanca? You're like, man, that slide keeps owning me up. You just go there and you watch all these players who are way better than you'll ever be and what they do to beat it. That's awesome, right? So you don't need the DVDs for high-level match play anymore. It's really just a memorial, right? A piece of, I went to Evo, and here's sort of my keepsake from it. But we have nice high-quality badges this year. It's actually pretty nice. And instead of the stupid little plastic holder and the index card you shove in there that looks like you made it at Kinko's. Tips.
Oh my gosh!
Right? We've got these nice plastic. Actually, I think they're PVC, form cut little cards that will live forever.
Kind of the badge I saw last year.
Maybe, yeah. But
yes, was there from DEF CON. He had a little cool little DEF CON badge, and I was like,
oh, the DEF CON badges? They're not going to be that cool. Those things had IR filters that you could turn TVs off with, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were functional and cool. But yeah, something like that, like sort of that form factor, and nice full color print on the front and some stuff on the back, and yeah. So everyone who goes to Evo and registers will get one of those, and I'm really glad that we can provide like this nice little thing that you can hang on your wall or something and be like, yeah, it's Evo 2009. So that if you have that and you have YouTube and stuff, you don't need the DVDs. And like I said, we have something in the works.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
But what about when the internet crashes, Ponder, and like after the hackers take down the backbones and we have to play Marvel and bomb shelters? How are we going to know top-tier strategies? Where are we going to get the strategies from?
I didn't think about that. That's a very good point.
You know what? I actually have a good idea on what you're going to offer, and I'm going to say that would be pretty freaking cool if I'm right.
Well, if it's really cool and you're wrong, please don't say it because then everyone will be disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I think it'll be really awesome. But people may disagree with me. They have in the past many times. Like the fact that nothing exciting was shown at E3. Except maybe Natal, but I think it's a gimmick. I don't think that's going to work in any game. But that's just me.
I don't think it's going to work in any real game. I think it's going to be like, we're trying to tap into the Wii market, so we're going to make, happy fun games, Microsoft Sports. But, whatever, business strategy.
Yeah, he'll be able to make the best bowling game and the best tennis game ever.
Yeah, but not going to play Street Fighter or anything if I have to friggin'
or that Japanese Tetris game where they send the foam at you and you've got to fit your body through it. You can make that game, and that would be awesome. Actually, that might be worth the price alone. If it was just the Japanese Tetris controller, that guy came back to the game.
They should be making that right now. If they get open source Natal, like somebody get on that because that's a killer app right there.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I got one thing that just passed in my mind though is, Tony, what is your dream job?
Dream job?
Yeah.
I would own a game studio and I would sit at the top and I would be like, you are making these games, and this is how you're making them, and we're not releasing them until they are done and good. I think Blizzard is the best game company in the world, and no one comes even close. And that's what they do. They have a small number of franchises and a small number of titles, and they work on them until they're good enough. And when they're good enough, they release them, and they're all major hits. And to be the head of a company like Blizzard, that's my dream job.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll work for that company.
Oh, yes. yeah, exactly. I was going to say, well, if you need a medium on getting the message out about, what would you call your studio company?
What would I call my studio?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. It's hard to name a game studio these days. I haven't thought about that.
How long did it take you to think to apply GGPO to GGPO?
Oh, GGPO was really hard to name. It was like I gave up, right? And I finally said, forget about coming, because I was like, oh, the name's gotta encompass, like, it's gotta feel fast. It has to be like networking related, so people know it's a networking SDK when they get it. And it's got, and I'm like, this is too hard. So I was just like, it's really for fighting games. You can use it for any game that has a small number of players. Like, you could use it for freaking Gauntlet if you wanted. But it's for fighting games, and I just picked something that the fighting game community would recognize. And it's sort of like, GGPO is good game. It's sort of it's sort of in StarCraft, but it's sort of it captures the spirit of the community, and we're in it to have fun. I'm like, all right, good enough. And so that took like a month.
You think Capcom would get mad if you name your studio Cannon Drill?
No, I don't think they would. I don't see why they would.
I was thinking cannon drill,
That's actually a good name.
cannon shot, twin cannon. Let's see. Because your last name was like got a good hook to it, so I can just think of, you know what?
Yeah.
I have never, by the way, this is seem off the. I have never met a black man with a last name Cannon. I just realized. I said.
You have met Cannon?
I have never met a black man named Cannon. Last name is Cannon. You are the first I've ever heard with that last name.
You know, so was I. Like, I never met a black name named Cannon. And then,
What?
I, like, Googled myself, like, 10 years ago, because, Google came out, and that was the thing, you Google yourself. And there's this, here he is. There's this, oh, no, holy shit, that's like a Korean guy named Cannon. But there's this black cop named Tony Cannon. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, not only does he have my name, like, he's black, and I never heard of, like, Cannons as a black last name, right? So,
and he's a cop. That's so sick. Officer Cannon.
My God! I just Googled myself, and my cell number is right there on the first fucking page.
Good job.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh my God! Why did I just say that on the radio? Okay, moving. Nick can't. No, not Nick can't. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta. I forgot about it. I forgot. I totally forgot Nick Cannon because he's irrelevant. So I mean, he has not contributed anything to the world, but putting a big rock on Mariah Carey's finger—that's the only thing that he's contributed. Okay,
he got her up off the street. That is good for him. I will give him that. He got her ass up out of everybody else's face.
Oh, okay, yeah, I give him that. Man, Cannon drill.
Crazy, man. Go ahead.
DS, I am not asking that. Alright, Cannon fodder. Oh man, we getting some really good ones. I told you, yeah. Man, love it. Cannon drill is like, I just hope that Capcom don't like, trademark their move names, I don't know if it's Hadouken, sure you can.
I thought Twin Cannon was really good too when you said it, because you had twin cannons, cannons, and then you guys be the twin heads. You could have like twin offices.
Wow.
Theme.
Oh my God, these people are tripping. Oh my God. Okay.
Nick Cannon gave us Cat Williams.
What the hell is he talking about? Somebody shoot him. Okay, oh, Mark just went over the... Oh, Mark... Oh, I'm sorry. Ski, you know why I just said that. Okay. Moving on.
Man, unloosen your time, man. Just relax. It's all cool.
I cannot stop laughing.
Take that top button down, baby.
Yeah, I think actually Cannon Drill would be pretty cool. Cannon Drill Studios would be pretty damn cool. I would, Cannon Drill Radio, shoot.
Let me think. If I was like, I work for Cannon Drill. Yeah. Cannon Drill Studio. Cannon Drill Studios? Yeah, we just had the new release. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. That first one that you came up, that's the best one.
But Tony, if you actually do start your own and you do become a multimillionaire, would you at least give me $50,000 for giving me that name?
If I start a game studio and I become a multimillionaire, the first thing I will do is hook you up with the $50,000 for the name.
Okay,
for sure.
Cool. You know what? That's good because you know what? That doesn't sound as crazy as people think it is. I mean, I think. hey, all I know is, because if he starts his own studio, then is the most likely he'll succeed. He will be a multimillionaire. I have $50,000 in the bank, and now I'm kicking myself for not asking for $100. But that's fine. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word.
Oh, we're here.
Oh, right. Okay. It is getting testy in there. By the way, Tony, oh man, I can't even really ask this question. Is like, is there anything floating in your mind about next year's Evolution? to even surpass this one, because you know the thing about it is, this one's going to be the best evolution ever. Oh, sorry. But I mean, is there something in your mind for 2010? I mean, is there? Because I know that for someone like you, you always think in the future. You know, you're never just trapped in. Because I mean, being a programmer, that means you have to be able to see what's just beyond what's going on now. We have to get for the future. You know, I hope by 2011 you're a millionaire, so I can get my 50,000. But you know. Well, you know, is there anything in the mind that you want to do for Evolution 2010, or is it too early to ask? Or
it's hard to say, right? Because if you look at, you know, where the community's going, like if you look at what we're going to do for 2010, yeah, we want to do the same things we're doing for 2009, except, you know, make it bigger, make it better. We've reached if you look at the history of evolution, there was sort of the writing is on the wall, and we knew we had to move in a certain direction to keep this thing going. Like, you know, back in the early days, it was clear that arcades were dying, and we're like, man, we need another release to keep this alive. But until that happens, we have to drive people to the arcades to keep, you know, the competitive spirit. So we made Apex, which was our ranking system. And said, you know, top Apex seeds are going to go to Evo. And we structured the point system so that you had to go to the arcade and play a lot, right? So try to keep the arcades alive. And people farmed the system and all this stuff, and we knew that would happen, whatever. But and then we're like, okay, that's great. And then when arcades were finally dead, we're like, we've got to go console. You know, if we don't go console, then this thing is over. And we took a lot of heat for that, but, you know, we did it. And, you know, putting Tekken and Street Fighter together took a lot of heat for that too, but you know, we knew that was the only way we could scale and get enough registration fees to pay for the venue and all that. And now, like, if you look at what Street Fighter 4 has done, like, the community's great. Like, community's never been better. Like, the OGs are coming back. We've got all this new blood coming in. People are like traveling the world. People are old enough now and have the means now to travel to Evo, and you know, some of them are traveling to Japan to train for Evo and going to France to take SBO seats so that we can get more U.S. players at SBO, and it's, you know, great. The community's great. All we have to do now is sort of feed on that and keep doing what we've been doing, right? My big concern is that not, you know, there's a chance for this to, like, you look at things like the CGL and even the CPL and all these leagues that tried to get big and, you know, got money in their eyes and, you know, tried to turn this into something like the NBA or the NFL. And if you do that, you run the, you know, in my opinion, these things will happen or they won't, right? You look at something like the World Series of Poker, and that was a community of poker players who played poker, and they had a national event, and it was small by comparison today. And for some reason, it went big, right? Somehow they got on ESPN because it was poker and anyone can win. And then when Scotty Wynn, you know, is all of a baby, right? Everyone was like, oh, poker's so cool. And then when Moneymaker won, it really blew up, right? And that wasn't necessarily because they were trying to blow it up or trying to turn themselves into something that they weren't to blow it up. It just happened, and it caught on, and now they're huge, right? I think if fighting games are going to catch on like that, you know, we have to stay true to the community. Because you look at Bang the Machine, you look at I Got Next, you look at just the people in the community, and, you know, Duck versus Sanford, you know, Yipes versus Justin, Yipes versus Duck, you know, all the OGs, all this stuff, right? This is way better than any reality television, right? And it's not because people are trying to make it good. It's just because of that competitive spirit and what it brings out in people and getting together and, you know, having a good time. And, you know, if we lose that, because I'll give you a disaster scenario, right? Suppose someone comes along and makes, you know, the fighting game league and signs all the players to an exclusive contract and says, we're going to give you guys $80,000 a year in salary plus tournament winnings and, you know, hook you up with the Toyota sponsorship. You know, all you have to do is sign our exclusive contracts, and people jump at that. Then you've fragmented the community, right? And you know, the whole community is lessened. And I guarantee you that league will go out of business in 3 years, right? Because no one has been able to pull it off. And maybe not. Maybe I'd have to see their business plan, but I don't see how you can afford to do that unless you somehow hook up a TV deal and suddenly your mom likes Street Fighter, and I don't see that happening, right? So, so for 2010, I don't know, just keep the community alive, keep the scene going, and be true to our roots, and play for the love of the game. And there's a couple players that will be able to make some money off of this. Justin Wong has some real endorsements and wins practically everything he enters, and you just add all that up, and he's making real money, right? But, that's 3 or 4 people in the community at most, who are going to be able to make a living off of it. And, for the rest of us, it's about the level of the game. And, people just need to keep that in mind when they're like going to Evo, and when they're, people tell you, oh, it's going to blow up. You can blow up. You can be just like, you can have the Thresh of Street Fighter. Like, we have the Thresh of Street Fighter. It's Daigo, right? We have the Fatality of Street Fighter. It's Justin and John and Alex. And, yeah, they don't get paid, but,
they're household names, though.
Yeah, they're household names, and everybody knows them, and everybody reveres them for their ability. And, maybe one day they will get paid. When, maybe 5-10 years from now, the stigma of video games will have lessened. We won't be Korea, of course, but maybe we'll be able to do like an Evo pay-per-view stream. That's something that's interesting. If people, if this stream goes really big, maybe we can do an Evo pay-per-view stream, really cheap.
I would love that.
Right? Think about that. Evo pay-per-view stream, really cheap. We get maybe 100,000 viewers, $500,000 pot. Now we're talking a real payday, right? But that's the way we can do it and still be true to like the idea that Evo is or the fighting game community is a single community with these, events where anyone can come, anyone can participate, anybody can win. There's no exclusive contracts, there's no teams. We're not based on endorsements, right? We're based around the popularity of the game. Just like poker, right? Poker thrives on the popularity of poker, right? Because everybody plays poker, and everybody thinks, oh, I've got a shot, right? Because of the structure of the game. All I have to do is play well enough, and I can win the World Series of Poker, right? In Street Fighter, not so much, right? But, that idea of thriving on the strength of the community rather than, having a promoter come in and be like, yeah, I can form a league and turn this around, and you'll all get paid, and, we'll blow it up. Because if the market's not there, the market's not there. And I don't think, even for things like, even the most successful esports, if you look at them and you look at what the people get paid, and I'm going to say except South Korea, because it's a national pastime and that's the market, right? Only the very tippy top percentage of players make enough where we could say, okay, you could live off of that, right, and not be like eating beans and rice. And even then, your career is going to be short because, you get old and you get slow. And so, Yeah,
I'm going to have Watson on in a minute. He'll tell us about that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You don't want to sacrifice, all the great stuff we've got in the community chasing a dream like that, right? And I think, people should take their shots. Like, there are people out there who are trying to do big things. And, great, take your shot. Do what you can, but not at the expense of the community. And especially the community shouldn't, do things that are going to, screw us over. Like, exclusive contracts is the biggest one that I can think of right now. Or so somehow selling out. Like for example, we're the Evo Council of 4, me, Tom, Wizard, and Seth could just be like, screw it, MLG, how much you gonna give us, right? And we could sell out. But that would destroy the community, right? Because MLG, in my opinion, the way they run their leagues is not compatible with the way the fighting game community wants to see stuff done, right? And so we don't do that, right? It's not, getting your payday and sort of destroying your hobby and your pastime just isn't worth it, right? So, that's the way I see it. That's the next 1 to 2 years. That's going to be the interesting to see how this turns out. Like, is everyone gonna get bored with Street Fighter? Like, oh, Street Fighter 4, yeah, that was cool. And if everyone turns away, that's okay with me. We'll still have the fighting game community. We'll still have the Evo 11. It'll be just as big as Evo 08, right? Or if it takes off big, like people are saying it's going to do, how is it going to take off? And, is it just going to be the people at the top that benefit in a sort of Major League Baseball type way? or is it going to be, everyone who benefits in a World Series of Poker type way? And I have my opinions on how it's going to turn out, but everyone's got their own ideas. So we'll see.
Well, your opinion will hold more weight because you're running a business. Unlike some people have to understand that when you're running a business, you have to be very, very in tune with what's going on with your customers. And I'm glad you're doing this for the passion. Something that I wish more companies would do, because I think that in this country, really, not to get on my soapbox here, but I really believe in this country that, yeah, we have a free market and everything, but I think that companies are getting so tight and so stingy, and they're actually cutting profits out rather than saving money. And I give you a great example. Everyone knows I work for Bank of America. I am a personal banker there, and I had a situation last month. I helped a gentleman pay his credit card through the ATM. Bank of America installs some ATMs, $300 million thing. And they are very, very focused on ATM migrations, getting people to use the ATMs because, frankly, the banking centers are getting overflowed. Bank of America is the number one bank now, and they got the most customer base. So I did this credit card payment through the ATM, and it was the day before the customer's due date. So he comes to me yesterday and says, hey, I got a late fee. I'm going, you got a late fee? He has his receipt and everything. The due date was on June 20th. He paid on 3:15 p.m. on June 19th. So I get on the horn, and I figured out, okay, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. I get on the phone with the credit card department. Now, the credit card department is independent of the banking center. We have no authority in what they do. So I'm thinking, as soon as I explain the situation to the person, he or she is going to take care of it. How wrong was I? They said, well, yeah, you did tell them the wrong thing. You told them they was going to post that day, but there's a 2 p.m. cutoff time. I'm like, but that's not out the ATM machine, though. It doesn't say 2 p.m. cutoff time on credit cards. They're like, yeah, but we sent out a disclosure when they first opened the credit card. I'm like, the credit card was opened 9 years ago. I'm going, like, you're not really. And he goes, you know what we're going to do is we're going to take off half the late fee. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I ask her, okay, would you go ahead and reinstate the original APR that he had on his card? Because when you're late, all the deals that you would qualify for is canceled, and they raise your APR. They raise his APR to 27%, and he owes $12,000.
They did that shit to me. Oh,
wow.
And so I'm about, because of my fault, this dude is going to lose everything if I don't fix this. This dude cannot afford he cannot afford his credit card more. Now, he cannot afford it.
The little old men when they're in Congress and they're complaining about the legislation and the laws need to be changed, it's like this dude who made one late payment and everything came crashing down. And that was because of one banker like you, Ben.
And then here's the thing, though, because is he going to care that the credit card department said no? He's going to come back to me. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to eat this big. Because I told him wrong. Because I'm thinking that credit card payments are like deposits. As long as you do before 5:30, it'll count the same day. And they're saying too bad. That's basically what they told me. I'm like, oh, hell no. You're not going to stick me with this. I am not going to wind up getting this dude kicked out of his home because he cannot afford his credit card anymore, or, ruining his credit. What's going to happen to him. I really could not believe what was going on with this. So I'm just going to give you an idea of how a company is being so damn cheap. They're going to lose a good customer, and this customer has relatives, has accounts with Bank of America, and this customer makes a fair bit of money, not a whole lot, makes a fair bit of money, and he owns a business. What do you think is going to happen when I tell him, I'm sorry, the interest rate hike stays? He's going to pull all of his accounts. His family member's going to pull all of their accounts. And not only that, I'm going to get a complaint. Even my boss is backing me. He's either, he's like, hey, it's not, you didn't do this intentionally. But it doesn't matter. because technically I can get fired because I put the bank at risk for getting sued. So I'm trying to save not just his livelihood, I'm trying to save my own. So I'm just gonna be blunt with you. If you have Bank of America as your bank, pull all your money out and go to a credit union.
That's been my plan. As soon as I get the damn credit cards that have with them paid off.
But you know what? But going back to the point, Tony, I'm glad that you're actually not getting above yourself because, yeah, you're right. There have been so many companies that all they see is the dollar signs and then just go into bankruptcy because of it. They don't understand patience. You know that with Street Fighter 4 and the amount of entrance that you have for Street Fighter 4 and the fact that you get Capcom is backing it, you know that your time is coming anyway. You just gotta, you're gonna have to wait, and it looks like the wait is not gonna be that much longer. And I really do applaud you for not just biting at the first, oh my gosh, I could be a millionaire, let me go ahead and sign this, and and then wind up ruining the franchise, I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that someone has a great business sense to understand that Rome is not built overnight. Microsoft was not built overnight. So, you just gotta be patient and wait till it comes to you, if it does. And I do appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah, well, we started this because we love Street Fighter, right? And, Seth still plays, I still play, Tom still plays, Joey still plays. We're all, and we're all fans of the big, the big names out there. I'm a huge Daigo fan. I'm a huge John Choi fan. So, it doesn't make sense to throw all that away for a specious payday that probably doesn't exist. And you look at the successful gaming leagues, and you look at what they have in common, and then you look at Street Fighter. There's not a clear path in my mind to get there. Like in Quake, there's a lot of companies who can make a lot of money off Quake. People who'll sell you a video card, people who'll sell you a high precision mouse, people who will sell you, a monitor with low refresh rate. People sell you a processor, people sell you, right, and energy drinks. Well, we can do energy drinks, but and in a fighting game, people sell you a joystick, and I can't think of anything else, right? So the potential for sponsorships is a little odd. We got mass appeal, that's great, but that's not enough to sort of turn this into something as big as the NBA or the NFL or something like that, right? You need what South Korea has, is you need to turn this into a national pastime, right? And if you don't have the mass market and you don't have a lot of sponsors who are motivated to sell directly to the participants, I don't see where the money comes from. So, taking unless it's like sort of self-funded, like where the pay-per-view stream is the best I can think of, right? And I don't know how many people would pay $5 to watch Evo.
At least not yet.
At least not yet, right? Like if Street Fighter keeps building, and like I said, if you get a couple years into it, where it's great. Mike Peering, he's a North California player, right? His new handle is Ancient Legend, right? I think it's Ancient Legend. Anyway, he's got his son into Street Fighter, right? And he actually got pretty far in the GameStop tournament, right? So you get a couple more years, and you start getting the leading edge of these literally second generation players, right?
Just like WWF.
Yeah, right. We're getting a little out there, right? But I'm saying, if we can build the base, if you look at how we've been building the base, B3 was a, big internet tournament, and it had 64 players, or 32 players, I forget, right? That's like a regional now, right? 15 years, it's built up. You keep building it like that, maybe it will get big enough that the player base can support, big money paydays for the winners, and you get enough people that they will do pay-per-view, and you get people, people who are in their 20s today end up being like, 27, 32, and they have a lot of disposable income because, they got real jobs instead of working at the IHOP, and, they'll be like, yeah, I'll burn like $20 to watch the live stream, why not? And, you never know what it can turn into, as long as you don't mortgage the future of the the community by shooting for a short payday, right? And so that's all right. I've been talking too much about that, but that's the way I see it, right? And that's the way we're going to run Evo, and that's the way we're going to cater to the players in the community instead of trying to sell out or try to optimize things for the elite players and not for the whole player base.
Hey,
second generation players, Duck Doe has a whole second generation of players coming
there
up.
You go. Yeah. The Doe family.
There.
He's got a whole dojo.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tony, I'm glad you're talking about this because, you are a good example of someone who started a business and is surviving it because technically you're defying the odds because video games is a pastime. It's a hobby. And we are in the biggest recession ever. I say ever now. I mean, screw the Great Depression. I think this is actually getting worse than that. And I don't see, they're lying. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. They're lying to the American people by saying we're seeing the upswing. We're not seeing the upswing with that. I work with these people every day. We're not seeing the upswing. It's actually getting worse. And for you to actually survive in the middle of a recession in a field where it's not a true need, that's saying something. I give you hats off. I give you all the credit in the world that you're able to keep this going despite what's going on around us.
Yeah, well, don't give us too much credit. I mean, Street Fighter 4, the success of Street Fighter 4 has a lot to do with the strength of the community, but it also has a lot to do with, Capcom really getting behind it and, putting serious dollars into marketing and community outreach. And there are four of us who run Evo, quote unquote, right, who organize Evo, but even Evo itself wouldn't be possible without people, coming and helping out. Like we had our first official call for judges, which I didn't know how that was going to work out, but, we got, I'm looking at the list now, we got like 40 or 50 judges who are people who are flying to Las Vegas to work, which is amazing, right? They're coming to Las Vegas, and I'm like, I'm going to put you to work for 6 hours running this bracket, and you're going to go hoarse, and you're going to lose your voice, and you're going to be calling people's names, and it's going to suck. And people are like, sign me up. Where do I sign up? That's awesome, right? That just shows, how much people really, love Street Fighter and will, play the game, and, as long as they're there in the thick of it, they want to help out, it's great, So, I appreciate the kind words, but don't give me a big head about this because we're doing stuff for the community, and the community is reciprocating, and that's one of the things that makes the community great, right? That's why you get these huge hype money matches. It's because of the love of the game and the love of the competition.
We're very fortunate, as Street Fighter fans, You know what? One thing we haven't talked about is that next year might be the year where all of the old games that have been a staple for Evolution for the past 6, 7, 8 years, it might finally end.
Isn't it great? I am sick of Third Strike. I know people love it, and that's why it's still there, but I am sick of Third Strike. I do not want to see another Third Strike tournament after EVO 2009. We know everything there is to know about that game ever since, say, 2006. You haven't seen anything new. It's the same Janai Jin, low forward, buffered into super, hit confirm. Some random Urine might occasionally make it to the finals, but other than that, it's, that game is solved. And I want to see something new, right? I am hoping Blaze Blue gets a big following so it can knock Guilty Gear out.
You don't want to see that game, no. You want to see Blaze Blue Dash or something serious.
Alright, Blaze Blue Dash, right? Soul Calibur 4 looks amazing. I can't believe how good that game looks. I'm glad it's there this year. Marvel, I'm hoping TVC takes off big. I don't know if it will or not because it's on the Wii, but I'm hoping that game can knock Marvel out and people find some sick stuff.
As long as it's on the Wii, it's dead in the water. I really believe that. If they put it on the PS3 and at least on the PS3 or the Xbox 360, I don't care which. If they just put it on at least one of those, I think the game has a good chance. You know,
the thing about that is the people that wanted to play that game did have the problem with the fact that it was for the Wii, but at the same time, a lot of those people had Wiis and didn't know that it was so easy to play an import game. And I think that a lot of people that showed interest for it would have been able to get access to a Wii. I mean, Wiis aren't even that hard to find now, and so if the game actually looks, like something that people want to play, I think at least the fighting game community will jump on it if proper improvements are made. I think that the game itself is more of a barrier than the Wii at this point, because we can get these converters for the Wii. GameCube to PlayStation 2 controllers very easily, and they're very cheap. It's nothing like converters from Marvel where
you cutting out
innovation ones are the diamonds in the rough, and you can never find those anywhere.
But one thing though, going back to Blaze Blue for a second, I really do like the game, and it's interesting. In the tournament, we actually had a bunch of Marvel players. Ro was in the tournament. And
what character did Ro play?
Ro played. What did he play? I want to say he played V13. But the thing about it, he was watching, and he was like, "Holy cow!" Because we have a player. His name is Trace, and he's really good with V13. I mean, like Magneto good. Like And
which character?
Huh?
Which character?
With B13. I mean, like all of our stuff that comes out of it looked like The Exorcist. The way he was doing, and everyone was like, "Woo, wow, woo!" So that it bodes well. I think that after Evo is done for this year, that the community might jump on that, at least here in the Seattle area.
My prediction, unfortunately, for BlazBlue is I don't see it lasting very long, but I do see a patch in its future, according to all the rumors. So I think that if the patch does a number of things the right way, and very few of them the wrong way, then it'll hold up.
Ski, are you uploading or something? Because you're fading in and out.
No, I'm not. I don't know. Could be someone else in my home on my internet. I'll just make this quick. I don't know. If those things aren't done right, then I don't really think that people are going to stick with this game for very long. You're going to see a lot of the same 3 characters, and then you're going to see a lot of the same 2 characters, and it's going to be just like Third Strike, but a lot quicker, I think. I'm still very, very new to the game, so my opinion isn't incredibly valid.
Way to dash my dreams. Damn. Okay, I don't know. No, but, I mean...
almost surely, so it's just got to be done right.
Let me think. We was talking about games for next year. By the way, Tony, you mentioned about Soul Calibur 4. I really enjoyed the finals at Devastation. The finals at Devastation for Soul Calibur 4. It looked really, really, really interesting. I mean, I have never seen Soul Calibur 4 high level play until I saw that. It looked like the lizard dude. He's ruthless. It's kind of funny that you can knock off his armor, man. It's like he's naked running around. But
oh yeah, you can knock off everyone's armor though, right? But he actually looks like a lizard under there. That's funny. Yeah, it's true. Soul Calibur 4 looks good when I see it too, and I've only seen it just the finals of a tournament here or there, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of fun. It actually makes me want to play it, although I never have. But I think it's a good looking game. It's probably fun to watch for a few matches, so it's a cool addition to the finals.
Yeah, and the game, the game play looks okay, but I was just amazed at how fantastic that game looks on in HD TV. It's just like drool dripping down my cheek, just like, wow, they spent a lot of time on those shaders, and it paid off big time. It's like, shader porn up there. Just, oh my god, the armor looks so great, and the backgrounds and everything. It's like, yeah.
You really like those shaders.
Yeah, I'm a programmer. Shaders get me. Yeah, let's see. Anything else we got at EVO? I don't know. You talked to Wizard for a while, so probably all questions have been answered at this time. But yeah, it's going to be hype. It's going to be great. Biggest tournament ever. Biggest live tournament ever. So,
all right, that's the clue. That's okay, people. That's the clue that Ponder wants to get the hell out of here. So please, if you have any questions, I asked. Thank you by the way, for coming on. You know, as always, you know, it's great having you here.
And thanks for having me.
I really learned a lot from you, and you know, and again, I mean, I wish you the best of luck at Evolution. Looks like it's going to be over the top this year. You know, there's been a lot of people in the gaming community, besides myself, that's been waiting for this for a very long time. And it's great to see the fruits of everyone's labor, your labor and your brother and all the people that help, that's been with it ever since the beginning. You know, it looks like that you guys are really going to see the fruits of your labors this year.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we're excited. It's going to be a ton of work, but, you know, we got the judges. Thank you again, judges. And we'll see if we can get through it without being too late. I hope this doesn't turn into a tournament, you know, knock on wood, that, you know, one of those ones that runs till 4 a.m. But, now we have judge training, and we will instruct our judges to be ruthless with the disqualifications. That's everyone's warning. You know, people who jumped to the end of the live stream said, "Oh, what'd they talk about?" You know, my last plug. You know, show up on time. You need to go somewhere. Check with the judge and be like, "Hey, judge, you know, I gotta go eat. It's gonna be like a half hour. Do I have time?" If he says no, you decide if you want to play in the tournament or you want to eat. I know that's harsh. No, really. Yeah, just yeah.
Oh man, I forgot to ask perhaps the most important question. You know, I forget that there's a lot of people that might be listening that is new to the Street Fighter community and the SRK community. What advice, Choshin, thank you for asking this question. What advice for someone going for the first time? You know, how would you approach it? You know, do you just absorb everything? I mean, what do you think should happen?
All right. So that's going to be a book. But let's see. If you're going to EVO for the first time, if you are underage, please be warned that you're in a casino and gambling is illegal. Don't try it, or you may go to jail. Drinking is illegal. Don't do it, or you may go to jail. Casinos don't play, right? So, you know, just stay within the rules. Have a good time, right? So that's for your underage people. For, let's see, your first EVO, you're playing in the tournament. Street Fighter 4 and STHD are on PlayStation 3. If you're a veteran, you know this. If you're not a veteran, this might be news to you. If you have an Xbox 360 stick, you're in a bit of trouble. You need to get a PlayStation 3 stick. And go to eBay or Amazon and get either cheap HRAP or something, or ask a friend if you can borrow theirs. Everyone must bring their own controller to EVO. The converter boxes don't work, so you really need to get a PlayStation 3 stick or a Cthulhu mod. Look on the Shoryuken forums for what a Cthulhu mod is, but you're running out of time to get that done. Even if you're a pad player, pad players, you have to bring your own pad. Very important. Also, we don't let you use the wireless on the pad, so bring your USB cable. To plug into the PlayStation 3. So have your own pad, your own USB cable. If you don't have a stick and it's your turn to play, and you can't find one, you might be out of luck, right? We might have to DQ you. So that's so those are sort of the gotchas, right? Hold on to your stuff, hold on to your stick, hold on to your camera, hold on to your coat, hold on to your backpack. Don't set it down. Don't ask someone to watch it, because we get all kinds. And, you know, some people aren't even here for the fighting game tournament. They're at the casino, and they see a lot of kids walking around with a lot of bags, and they know someone's going to put something down eventually, and they're in the hall, they grab the bag, and they're out, and you never see them again, right? So just be very careful with your stuff, right? As far as the event itself, you know, the BYOC is there, first come, first serve, but if there's nothing there, and you see a game that you want to play, you know, just sort of, you know, jump in and be like, yo, who's got next? And they'll probably hear he's next, and I'm after him, and I got him after, and be like, okay, I'm after you, dude. And then just jump in and play, if you get there early and you lock down a TV, try not to lock it down the whole time because there's a limited number of TVs, a bunch of games people want to play. And otherwise, just talk to people, make new friends. Everyone is there, for the tournament, but they're also there because there's only a few national gatherings a year where people can get down and play, hang out, just have a good time. Did I miss anything?
No, man, that was great. All right. Shoot. Well, okay. I'm gonna let you get going, and thank you for coming on again. And and I promise this show is being recorded. It's also being recorded by 3 other people, so don't worry about it. But if you are recording this show and you have recorded it from the beginning, if you have the web space and the bandwidth, and you can make it available as a merit, that would be much appreciated. All right. All right, hey, Tony, thanks a lot, and I hopefully I can have you on the show again post Evo, and to talk about it, so we can see what did you like.
Since we got to ask one more question before you go, because Evo is coming, and you just went over everything for Evo, but you didn't talk, and you haven't talked anything about playing in the tournament. So, what do you think about? You're prepared for playing in the tournament, and what kind of advice can you give for people? Because you've obviously been to a number of tournaments. I don't know if you get to play every year, but you've surely played many of them.
Yeah. Let's see. If you're playing in the tournament and you're new to the fighting game community, do not expect to win the tournament. I know that sounds a little obvious, but just go there and learn from the experience and see the good players and see what they do. It's good. A tournament is a bit of an endurance fest. If you look at our schedule, the pools last like 6 hours, and you don't want to be standing there for 6 hours holding your stick with no hydration, with no food, on edge. Go to your pool, find out when you play. Maybe play your first match. If you lose or if you win, find out how long you have, and bring some food with you. Bring a drink. If you got like 30 minutes before your next match, just ask the judge, be like, how long have I got? And he'll give you a time frame. He'll be like, don't go anywhere, in which case don't go anywhere. But if he's got like, yeah, you're going to be like 20 minutes or whatever, then go have a seat, and eat something. You have to keep yourself, in a position. All right, let me put it this way. When you're playing your match, it's 2 out of 3. You're playing someone you've never played before from a character you might not be that familiar with, and you have to adapt and beat him in that short window of time. So you have to go from cold to your highest peak very quickly and play with intensity for those matches, right? And then you're going to come down. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're tired or hungry, or you've been playing in the BYOC area forever, and you just had a 30-game win streak, and you're like, yeah, I beat these fools down 30 games, right? You're not going to be able to do that. So, if you really want to do well, if you want to do well in the tournament, eat something, drink something, relax. You could bring your iPod with some music, whatever you like, whatever gets you chill, whatever gets you your happy place, and listen to that a lot when you're down. And then when it's time for your match, really psych up and really get. You've got to be at your peak. If it takes you 3 or 4 games to warm up, you got to find a way to escalate that, right? You have to warm up in 1 or 2 rounds, and that's something that the great players do, right? If you look at the Justin versus Sanford videos, and you see them like hyping themselves up and beating their chests and yelling. You see when Justin wins, and he's like, yeah, and he's all in the person's face. That's them at their peak, at their most, agitated, I don't want to say agitated, but their most alert, heightened state, in order to have the reaction time, in order to have the anticipation, in order to read their opponent, right? And you need to find that place while you're playing if you really want to do well. And
slow down time if you can. If you can
control time, you need to binge, right? And people, Sterling gets a lot of crap for that, for saying that. The reason I did well is because I could control time, and came finals day, I could not control time, and he gets a lot of crap for that. But if you hear, I read this interview with a baseball player. I forget who it was. This is like 15 years ago, and they're like, they said, how do you hit the ball so well? And he's like, well, I have such control, and I have, time seems to slow down, and I can actually, Like, my eye can follow the ball to the point where I can actually see the laces on the ball and where my bat makes contact. And they're like, you know how fast that pitch gets there. It's like 0.2 of a second, which means you have like 0.1 of a second to start your swing and 0.1 of a second to adjust, and then the ball is there. They're like, that's bullshit. There's no way. So he's like, I'll prove it. They put tar on his bat, and they threw him some pitches, and he hit the ball, and he's like, he described where the bat hit, and every time he was right. Right.
Huh.
And if you like played out, if you played sports or whatever, basketball or whatever, you've seen this phenomenon where like you jump up and you catch the pass and you put it in and it seems like you're hanging in the air forever.
Yeah,
and that's
totally.
just you at your heightened state, right? You're at your peak, you're at your prime, and everything slows down. And if you can do that at your match, then that's it's going to take a lot out of you.
You can slow down time. Do that shit.
And that's really what Sutherland meant. Is he was at his peak, and he for those few matches in the semifinals, he harnessed that, and it was just easy. Everything came easy, and everything was slow, and it didn't matter what his opponent did because he was in their head. And not everyone can do that. In fact, very few people can do that. I can't do that. I can't do that in fighting games. I used to be able to do that. Like I ran track, and I could do that when I was running the 4, like in the final sprint, and I could just everyone slow down. And but I can't do that. I never can do that, and that's why I haven't done anything in tournaments. But if you really want to get good, work that mental game is so much more important than even reaction time or anything. If you look at speaking of the mental game, you have a game plan. Whatever you do in training mode, whatever you do online, whatever you do with your friends, like you have a plan. Like, if I'm Dawson, I'm going to keep them out and I'm going to throw fireballs and make them frustrated. Stick to your game plan and don't play your opponents. I see this all the time, and no knocks against these players, but if you look at Ed Ma at Devastation, go back and look at those VODs. Like, he tried to play footsies with John Choi, and
Yep.
Okay, and he played toe-to-toe with Rufus, with Justin, where he's got a character who takes more damage, has an air fireball, has a teleport, has all sorts of ways to get away, but, he didn't play that get-away, keep-away game. He sort of played a straight-up game. And Ed knows this, right? People were saying, why did you go head-up? And he's like, I know I shouldn't play their game. And, you have to make sure you do that, right? Play your game, play to your strengths, not your opponent's strengths, right? The mental game of Street Fighter is bigger than a lot of people give it credit for, right? You look at, and again, no disrespect, because he knows this too, right? If you look at Flo's an awesome player, right, Ari, and for some reason, certain matchups, his head game just isn't there. You saw that in the GameStop finals, where, it was Flo against random Sagat, and he sort of fell apart, and he's like, and then after the match, he's like, I don't know what I was doing, it was so horrible, and like, I don't know, what were you doing? He's like, I don't know, his head just wasn't in it, right? So, do everything you've got to do, and you can practice this at home, right? Like for this one match, pretend it's the tournament finals and get yourself hyped up to that level, and don't allow yourself to make any mistakes, right? Some people are like, that's just 10%, I'll make that up, right? Don't allow yourself to make any mistakes. You've got to practice this, and you've got to bring everything to every game, or you'll be pieced out, right? You might get lucky the first time, maybe the second time, but by that third match in the winner's bracket, or even the loser's bracket, that your opponent is going to be bringing everything. The mental game, the physical game, he's going to be hyped up, he's going to be at his peak, and if you're an online player, that can be intimidating, sitting right next to the guy who's, he's breathing heavy, he's focused at the screen, he's probably making this funny-ass orgasm face, you've seen Bang the Machine, what I'm talking about, right? And, the James Chen face or the Derek Daniels face where they're like looking at the screen and their jaw's all slack and, they're hitting the buttons with intensity and, and that can be intimidating and, you have to be, you don't have to be that exaggerated, but you have to be in the same state. You have to be in your head game. The crowd has to disappear, your opponent has to disappear. Right? You've got to, learn to do that if you want to be good at this game. If you want to be good at tournaments. Certainly at EVO, right, the biggest tournament there is. And good luck to you, because I can't do that, and most of us can't do that. But if you can do it, then you can win this game.
Let me just add something. By the way, I don't care what tournament you have ever played in before. If you have never played at EVO, then you have not played in a serious tournament. Do not think that you can go there and think you're going to have your wits about you and you're just going to execute just like you do at home. That shit is false. You're going to get there and your nerves is going to take over. You're going to get nervous. Your hands are going to get sweaty. All of that is going to happen. Now the tip is, can you control it? Some people can. Some people can. There you go.
I can totally slow down time. Fuck, I can do it. Seriously, I just can't do it when I need to. I can do it. I'm serious.
All right, Tony got family obligations, so I'm going to let him run. And Tony, thanks for coming on, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks. Good stuff with the show. These are always entertaining. I'm glad to be part of one.
All righty, so we'll talk to you post Evo.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.
All right, take it easy. Okay, so if you are recording right now, you can go ahead and stop because we're actually going to do a changeover right into All Bunk Radio.
It's just like, when you started with the Monday Night Raw, and then it was Raw is War. Now it's Radio is Bunk, son.